Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa, and today we're going to be busting a scrap. And today's bust a scrap is going to involve obviously scrap pieces and vellum. So I've got the pieces of vellum cut already here. And mainly these were made to make them into belly bands. This piece of paper is not big enough, and let's get a digital that's big enough. So I made them big enough to be able to stick as belly bands. And then once it's glued down as belly bands and you want to stick something behind there, you can see through the center. It's still faint, it's still hint, it gives the illusion of it, but a little bit different, kind of fun feel, but again, with some scraps. So let me get this out of the way, and I will show you. There's two different sizes. I'll explain how I got to the second size in a moment, but get that out of the way. All right, so I started this project with 12 by 12 vellum sheets. These I got a while ago. I don't know if there's a date. They're pretty old. But I know you can still find vellum out there. You might not be able to find 12 by 12 sheets. You might find 8.5 by 11, but you can still cut them down to this size. I know you can also, if you can't find vellum, tracing paper has that clear-ish look to it. And I know you can find those pads at tracing paper pads at like even Walmart and stuff like that. So, all right, so what I did was I started with the 12 by 12 and I cut 4 inches off, so I had 8 by 12. So we're gonna pretend like I had my 4-inch strip because I've used it out of the way. So I had 8 inches by 12 inches. And then I cut the 12 inches down to 4 and 4. So I had, the finished piece is 8 by 4. So I have 4 pieces that were, I'm sorry, 3 pieces that are 8 by 4. They equal 12. And then the 4th piece that was here, I cut, since it was 4 inches, I cut it also, I cut that down to 8, and it left a smaller square that ended up being a 4 by 4, and that is what this one is. Now this is obviously longer than 4 inches. It is about 6 1/4. But when I show you how I did it, I just expanded this paper a little bit higher. The vellum is only tucked in like about that far, 4 inches. Yeah, it's only tucked in about that far into it, whereas this is the whole piece of, looks like I cut it down to 7.5. Yeah, I cut it down. Not sure why I cut that down, but that's neither here again. Again, made them yesterday. So I'm going to show you how I did these. I stamped them, added the scrapping papers, paper scraps, a little bit of washi tape, some decor, and yeah, belly bands. Fun, clear belly bands. So let me show you how I did that. All right, so I started with the 8 by 4 pieces of vellum, and what I did is I folded it in half. Now you could probably try to score it, but I found I had no problem with just folding it in half. Now you got to be careful. I don't know if it's just how old my vellum is, but if you score it too much and open and close it too much, it can be kind of brittle and crack open. So we're just going to score it once and reopen it just to play with it. All right, I'm going to fold it the other way. Whoops. Come on. I'm going to fold it the opposite way because I need to do some stamping on the inside. All right, so what I did was I just took some random Tim Holtz stamps and I stamped on to this one side. It's folded over so that I don't accidentally stamp on the other side. I did try to use some VersaFine Clairs, and it works on here, but it stays wet for quite a while. I did find out that the Distress Oxides will stamp and they dry just a bit faster. So just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to do that. All right. Of course, I didn't grab a block because that would have made the most sense. All right. I should have tested this. I'm not sure. Oh, it's good. Okay. All right. So we're going to put some papers on the top and the bottom. So we are just going to stamp in the middle for it to show up. And you can just put one stamp. You can put 100 stamps. You can do your to your heart's content what you want to do. and that is okay that it is not completely done. We'll put that one that way. Should have double checked and looked at it, make sure it looked good. All right, turn this way and do our best to stamp. I am trying to fill it up a bit, but not like overwhelm it. Okay, let's see. We need to put a plane, you know, birds fly, planes fly. We're going with the flying theme. All right, we put this over here. Beautiful. I am gonna put that on the bottom, kind of like not a line, but a border. Beautiful. All right, so I just want to throw something in there. And that'll work. Put a little cockeye just because. And I just want a little something right there. Form LA34. Once again, we'll turn it. And I think it was a little lower than I wanted. Yeah, it overlapped it. That's okay. All right. I think that's good. I could probably put something little there. I think on the one I did, it's hard to tell, but I had added like the 3 stars as just little fillers. But for this, I think we're going to be okay and go from there. Now, get this out of the way. And of course I have ink on my hand, but we are going to cover that with paper. So we are going to need this to dry, of course. So I'm going to let that dry, and I will be back to show you the rest. Okay, so I've gone through and stamped this and let it dry, and I also, while I was letting it dry, I worked on a couple other ones I just want to show you. So this one I stamped using brushed corduroy, a distressed oxide. I think that came out very sandy looking colors. And then I did this one, which I absolutely love, out of chipped sapphire. And this one I did more postal themes. This one I did a little bit more specimen, botanical, bug-like kind of things, just that. And like I said, this one was birds fly. So, but I absolutely love that one. All right, so we're gonna, I have let them dry, and I just want to show you what we do next. I have pulled out my scrap papers for this, and I never got a chance to get the ink off my hands, but it should be okay. I made sure it was dry, and I did take, just a final thing is I did take some paper, put it down and rubbed it, and just picked off some of the things that might be just a little bit chance of wetness. All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to, we stamped it like that. I'm going to reopen it. I'm going to fold it back onto itself so that the stamping is inside and shadowed. Now, if you wanted to keep it on the outside, by all means you could, but I like the illusion of it just being a little less vivid when I did the first one. But again, up to you. This one I might keep like this. We'll have to see what it looks like reversed. I really do love that one, but we'll see. Okay, so now this couldn't be simpler. We're just going to take scraps and we are going to attach them to the top and the bottom, leaving that center part open. And if you want to coordinate colors, you can. If you want to different colors, you can. I kind of like that grid for this. And For both of these, I just put one scrap paper on the top and one on the bottom, but if you wanted to add more, that is fine. I kind of like the grid look of this. All right, so what I did was find my glue, and we're gonna trim this down because there's gonna be a lot extra. And I think that's how my other one got short, because I trimmed it down not knowing how long it was. Because once you glue this down, you really can't see. Take that one, wasn't I? Yeah. Okay. So what I did was I wrapped it around the front and the back to seal this in. And we're just gonna use some scissors to cut a bit of this off. And we should be okay now. Yeah, that'll reach. Now it doesn't have to reach in the back, because if you're gluing this down like a belly band, you're never going to really see the back anyway. But it really does give extra level of strength to it, because you do have 2 layers going around it. Ooh, timber. All right, so all I'm going to do is, should I have my paper out here? There we go. We're gonna flip that around, because this is the front. There we go. Now that I've stuck it down, and we're gonna glue the back down. Okay, I made a sticky mess, that is for sure. Let's get this out of here. Okay, we're just gonna give it a good squish. Make sure it is all good. All right, so there is the bottom. Now, I wanted to say, when I first made this one, and you probably can see it, I did put a very thin bead of art glitter glue, because I wanted to seal the inside of this so that it didn't pop open. But after I did that, I didn't like the way it looked and the waviness to it. I wasn't a fan of it. I do know that I have glued vellum down with this kind of glue, but usually I have to put it on the whole thing, and I was leery about doing that because I didn't want the ink to come off. So this one, I just folded the paper over, and it is open, but you barely can tell it's open because it wrapped around to the back side. Okay? And speaking of the back side, like I said, the back side is a lot brighter, but because you're using words and stuff, they're backwards. Okay, so we're just gonna do that, and then we're gonna find something to go on the bottom. And again, like I said, if you wanted to do 2 things, you could. I don't think I want music notes sideways. Oh, I do like that ruler. That'll work. All right, so we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna know that it is long enough. Okay, we'll glue from the top and the bottom. All right, so this is a busted scrap, but like some of the other ones that I've done, you don't bust as many scraps as you think you will, because this really is just using a couple scraps for it. All right, front and back. And seal. Now, like I said, you can do more than one. There's no reason to stop you if you wanted to put more than one strip on there. That is too much the same. Let's see, I got my thinner strips here. Something could be fun. You're pretty thick. Ooh, I do like that though. got some leaves like the bird. Put that on there. And I don't necessarily have to wrap this around because it is already been wrapped once. So I just might just put it on the front to add a, it's kind of like more like a decoration. But if I had a lighter paper one, I could definitely wrap it around. Let's do that. And it is thicker. It was double-sided, so let's put that on. Now I did put it a little lower because I have a feeling I'm going to need to, because I could see the paper line there. It's a little bit taller. If I wanted to make it the 8 inches again, I need to trim it down. But there you go. You can add, like I said, a little bit of washi tape to the ends there. All right, so I have a couple of these washies. This has green. I think I might use that on this one. And I think I'm gonna put it up there. Wrap it around because, again, not going to be seen. And I got this black with the diamonds, which I think would be fun here. Covers that up. That edge is a little bit weird, the way the paper got cut off. And we'll put that down. And again, you could decorate any farther. If you wanted to add something, tidbits or flower or butterfly, or whatever you want to add to it, words, etc. But then this, we're going to chop down to 8 inches before I forget. All right, we're going to start by just getting this bottom off a little bit. And measure where the 8 goes. I could do 8.5. A lot of the things are pages are 8.5, but I like it just a little bit smaller because sometimes if it gets put on a digital, the border gets cut off, so it would be too long anyway. So now this should be right at, yep, 8 inches. Beautiful. Lovely. So again, you pop that onto, glue it for a belly band, and then take your card, be able to slide it in there, and you'll be able to see through what's below it. Little sneak peek. And once it's removed, if there's nothing in there, you still have a bit of a decoration where that's at. Too much fun, right? All right, let's put some paper on the other one since this really doesn't take too long. All right, we got these two, and we do some fun bright stuff there. That would be kind of fun. Pink and blues. Now I want it wide enough so it meets in the back. So that piece is too small. This piece is probably also a bit small. Now, technically, it's not mandatory that it does that. I just like the idea of it meeting in the back and giving it some strength. I kind of like that. I know the pink and brown, but except those lines go, those little pictures really kind of go up and down, not sideways. And I probably before should have picked them out ahead of time. My greatest downfall, searching for stuff. Oh, you're too small. Well, that's a bright, fun chipper color. I like that. I think if we put that on there, it's not going to wrap around, is it? Oh, it'll just wrap around. Okay, we're gonna do that because that is fun, even though it's up and down. I like it. Okay. Get that one next, and we'll do this one first. All right, so we're just gonna cut a little bit off so it doesn't overlap too far. And we're gonna glue this one on. And I'm gonna reverse it back and see how that looks. I think I am going to keep that one that way. This is a very subtle color, and it really doesn't get seen as much through, so I think I'm going to do this one facing this way. Make it a little different. Again, up to you. Do you want to see the stamping more, or do you want it to be just hidden in the shadows as kind of an accent? All right, so you're going to go on the bottom. And fold, and fold. And it was a little bit longer than the vellum, but when we're done, we can go back and cut it and make it beautiful. Probably shouldn't be folding those in half to give the line, but I think we're going to be okay. All right, so I'm going to make this just go ever so slightly, so this blue gets wrapped around it more and on the front. That makes sense, because I really do want more of those blue dots showing. So we're gonna go this way. A little crooked. I'm gonna trim some of that off. It doesn't match anymore, but that I'm fine with, because like I said, it's the back. It never gets seen again. I just want it to be wrapped around so that the opening is a little bit more secure without having to glue it down together. Okay, now that could be fun. It's got a little bit of, yeah, I like it. It's got the sun on there with the yellow. And I think something blue down here. This one has like moons on it. So sun and moons, I love it. Let's go with that one. I like it. Now I can still add some more washi tape, another, like I said, another piece of, you know, a little strip on, add it onto it, something like that, just to tie something together. You want to put something like that on there, you can do that, but we're going to just cut this down to the 8. Trim this end. And we're gonna 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it's gonna be right there. All right, we're gonna trim down right there. Okay. Cute. I like it. And once again, be able to stick something behind it, and love it. Love it. All right, so I got the blue one, and we're going to see how the blue looks through. It's bright enough. And of course, I got a little bit of brown on there. Must have rubbed past it. I see the circle. So I don't think, because it kind of looks like it's got a mushy mess. So I think I would have done it this way because I think it still shows through enough being the blue, but only because I did that, I'm going to put this on the top. But don't get me wrong, I like it both ways. That is not a problem. Okay, let's find something fun to put on here. Ooh, this is fun. The floral. Oranges, yellows, blues. I don't think I really have any paper that's postally themed necessarily. But orange and blue always looks fun together, I think. There's orange in those flowers. I think I'm going to do that. I think we're going to do it. All right, we're going to trim this down a little bit because it's a bit tall. And we're going to glue this down and go from there. So yeah, ooh, don't bend. You can just go ahead and decorate this any way you want, more or less, add some stuff. Yeah, I like it. And I've said it before with these busted scraps, not every single one is going to use 600 scraps, but my whole theme or idea behind this is different ways to use your bucket of scraps and not just be, you know, making masterboards out of them. Not that there's anything wrong with making masterboards with scraps. I love it. But, whoops. I pushed it up so it was giving a bump in there, opening up that inside, which I did not want to do. Okay, it doesn't meet, but again, it is okay. I don't mind it. Getting a little sticky here. Go down here. And now I could have left it up a little bit more so there's a little bit more room to possibly add a washi tape below this paper, but putting some washi tape on it doesn't bother me. I'm okay with that. Okay, and squish. Make sure it is nice and squished down there. And nice and creased on the sides. I love it. Oh, I absolutely love it. All right, one bonus I did see about not putting them together is you can see where the washi tape, or not the washi tape, the vellum stops, and you can go ahead and cut it down. And this one was okay. This did not need to be cut anymore. It is right where it's at. But I think I will because the piece in the back folded a little weirdly. There we go. I love it. Very fun. So much fun. All right, I grabbed a couple washi tape for this one. I've got this blue one. This is a Tim Holtz one. I think this would look great up here, bordering the flower. And then I like this black actually. I think this is a paper one because it does say cart postage. Card day postage. It's got some sort of whoops. Yeah, this is a paper one. Numbers and fun stuff like that. So let's use a bit of this. I think I'm gonna put that on the top, kind of like a second border. Gives your eye a rest between the floral and the scallops. so light. Yeah, I like it. I definitely like it. All right, let's get rid of this, roll this back up again. All right, let's put these guys back. Make sure I get the Tim Holtz and the Tim Holtz one. There we go. And oh, actually, I was thinking about something to put on here. I have my postage stamps, those freebies, and this house one has blues and oranges in there. And I thought how fun this would be to go on here. And it's going to cover up that ticket a little bit, but I think that's okay. I don't think I want it at the top, do I? No, I think I'm going to put it at the bottom. I mean, I have the tinier one of it. Oh, I would say, but it's going to be hard to track down. And oh, I had it. There it is. Let's see how that one looks. Just need to put a little ink on it. I did cut this one so it has a little bit of the postage stamp look, but yeah, let's go with the little one. Big one would fit on there, not necessarily that one, but as a little decoration. Got to have a postage stamp with this one, right? All right, I have a dragonfly. I think a dragonfly will go on. There's a butterfly here. A little dragonfly on top, bottom. I think I'll put it on the top. I love it. So a little decorating, some little tidbits, some little stamps. Put it over there, block more of the pink, since that butterfly or dragonfly is blue. There was a blue and yellow dragonfly too. I probably could have picked that one, but a little bit of glue on the top there. There we go. That's a little bit better. I love it. Well, I think these are done. Put that away. Save that for another day. Let's get this out of the way and we can take a look at what we've made today. Put some of these scraps back. All right. So the first two that I did without pre-camera, got that one and this one, and I think I forgot to mention in the beginning, this was just a clear sticker butterfly, probably hard to see, that I put on the inside. So it was really simple. Like the rest of these I stamped like crazy, but this is just one stamp and a butterfly. You could do a flower, any sort of sticker in there. I do like the fact that it's those clear ones, that the PET ones, so it really does just show the butterfly. You can't really see the clear on the outside, instead of like the ones that have the white sticker. I mean, you could also do a fussy cut in there. There's no reason it has to be one of those, but stickers are easy. All right, so ones we made on here ourselves. So I have this one. Didn't really decorate this one besides adding the extra piece of scrapbook paper there. A couple pieces of washi tape. This one, the inking is on the inside. And again, I am not too mad about it being like that open, because once you put it down, even if you're going to try to put something on this side, it's not going to really go in there. I mean, it can, but since these papers are wrapped around it, it's going to want to make its way behind it. And if you're worried about it, you can make sure that the fold is on the side that's on the outside that you would probably more likely put it into. All right, so these two we did on the outside. This one I did on the outside because it was lighter colored. I thought it was a little darker. I do like the sun and the moons, dragonfly, very fun for that one. And this one I only did on the outside because of that smudge that was on there. I definitely could have put this on the inside because it was darker, but I love how this one came out with the little stamp. Don't forget to, if you haven't gotten that freebie from me on my Ko-fi account, the mini stamps and then the larger version that comes with it is free. Ko-fi link is below. But I love these. These are so much fun to do and make. And this was, like I said, one 12 by 12 piece of vellum. I was able to make 5 of the belly bands, 4 of the longer ones and the 1 shorter one, only because I could have made it longer. The 4-inch vellum is there. I could have made the pages longer, but it's kind of fun to have a tiny one. Now I did do it this way for the pictures, but there would be no reason why you couldn't take that 4 by 4, squish it in a little bit and make it a sideways belly band, have it cut down a little bit more, and still have the pretty clear on the inside. So I love them. I'm so happy with these. They came out better than I thought when I was making my sample, which is always good. And I guess that's practice. You know, make your sample, is maybe not the best, but as you move along, they become spectacular, I think. Okay, well that is going to be it for me. If you like the video, a thumbs up would be great. Please let me know if you think you might try this idea. If you have any vellum, or again, like I said, tracing paper should work for these. I love them. Okay, well that is going to be it for me today. As usual, I appreciate each and every one of you that has stopped by, and I hope you all have a wonderful and creative day. Bye for now.